Now, world leaders are not doing enough to prepare for more intense environmental and security crises. That's according to a major peace studies institute. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or Sipri, says the world is entering a new era of risk where environmental and security issues overlap. It says droughts, heat waves and other impacts of climate change are increasingly driving conflicts around the world. According to the report, while temperatures rose worldwide between 2010 and 2020, the number of armed conflicts doubled, as did the number of refugees. And we're joined now by Margot Wallström, the former Swedish foreign minister and chair of the international panel that guided the research. A very warm welcome to DW. Good to have you with us. Now, the report suggests that there is a link between worsening crises and security and the environment. Could you perhaps give us some concrete examples where these problems reinforce each other?
Well, it's easy to imagine that a country that has a lack of drinking water and shares a water source, a river with neighboring countries, and because of climate change, there is less and less water to share. This could easily lead to social unrest and conflicts, and in the worst case, war. And we see that in many places around the world, but also how, of course, some of these problems lead to people fleeing, leaving their countries. So we have so many more refugees and climate change refugees. So I think that there are a number of these elements showing the link between peace and security and growing environmental problems.
Now, looking at the war in Ukraine, aside from the human cost, it's also destabilized European security and affected global food and energy supplies. What further consequences do you see on the horizon?
Well, it's very clear that the Russia war in Ukraine has also and already led to, I would say, a huge impact on the rest of the world. There is less wheat, for example, so people go without bread in many countries, and other exports of crops that cannot be harvested now in both Ukraine and also in Russia sends waves of problems around the world. And of course, the whole oil and gas export from Russia also being impacted by sanctions and so on. So we depend on each other. We understand that some of these problems follow a wind or a river, and we just have to take that into account. We have to live with some of these risks. We have to avoid them.
Now, your report says that institutions, including governments, are reacting too slowly. Briefly, if you would, what actions should they be taking now?
Well, they have to cooperate, first of all. They have to make sure that they look into the future, identify some of these environmental problems that can also have a spillover effect. And they just have to think more long term, and they have to take into account what climate change will do, and they have to improve their planning and also engage, be deliberately inclusive, as we say. So talk to those people that will be affected and involve them in the planning for the future.
All right, Margot Wallström, former Swedish foreign minister. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.